So after releasing my video yesterday showcasing an early look at the upcoming ToneX Editor, I received a load of questions that I wanted to answer today. And I also wanted to take you through what the ToneX Editor is going to look like when utilized with ToneX One. Yesterday I focused mostly on ToneX Pedal. So let's get right to it. So first things first, here we have this new ToneX Editor, and you'll notice that I have the ToneX One plugged into it. Again, like we said yesterday, the little green light means we have a good connection with whatever pedal we have plugged in. And instead of a picture of the full-blown ToneX pedal, we now see ToneX One. I can pull down here and see what my firmware version is. Now, so much is going to stay the same in comparison to what I showed you yesterday with ToneX Pedal, but we are going to come and take a quick peek over at the global setup. So we have tempo set up just like we did before, where we can choose either tempo mode of global or preset. We can go right into global setup, and we have our input trim control here, just like we did with ToneX Pedal, and we have our main volume control as well. We have our tuner mode, mute or through, and our reference. And we have our general global setup tab, which is going to allow us to set the global cabinet bypasser active, turn direct monitoring on or off, reset our global setup, and it gives us our current ToneX pedal firmware version, in this case, ToneX One. We also have the ability to go up here and either export or import a library or import the default library. And we have the ability to do a firmware update or go into recovery mode. Other than that, things are looking pretty much like they would if we plug ToneX Pedal in. As far as our top row up here, you see that we have the existing tone model that we have loaded in showing here and the slot that it is in. We know with ToneX One, we only have those 20 slots. We have our global BPM, tap tempo. We can use that, or we could just come and type a tempo in as well. We have our very familiar controls here, noise gate, amp, cab, and I went through all of this yesterday about what link cab does and choose different tone models right from here. We can control our compression, we can control all of our modulation effects, our delay, and our reverb. We can do things like move the noise gate around to first in the chain or post amp as well. So we do see something familiar here, just like we did with the old Librarian tab on ToneX software. Is when we plug ToneX One in, we have the two slots that are available to us in dual mode or the stomp mode, and we can select just like we could before, right? And again, we're going to utilize this just like we did in the past, but this time we can now, once we've selected this, we can come and we can edit. And again, this is directly editing on ToneX Pedal itself. If I go to the actual pedal, which you can't see, it's off screen, but if I turn the knob, you'll notice that that is updating live on the screen, as it should. Now, we're going to come back to this in a second, since I do want to come over to the Librarian tab. So what's nice about this is over here on the left, we actually see what is going on our pedal. And since there's so few slots, in this case only 20 on ToneX One, we get a very clear overview of this. We can basically take any preset or tone model, or if we want to go onto ToneNet, we could also utilize ToneNet downloads, but I'm going to stick with my local library here. And let's say I wanted to move one of these tones over to my ToneX One pedal. I simply click whatever I want and I drag it over. It's going to ask me if I want to overwrite what's on the pedal. In this case, I'll say yes. The other thing we can do is we can choose by hitting Shift or Command. We can choose individual or multiple different tone models or presets. In this case, it's a preset. And I can drag all of those over at the same time. Tell it, yes, I want to overwrite. And then those are going to be on my pedal. So if I come back to my editor now, I could take those, drag them up to different slots up here on our ToneX One pedal. Or we could have done that even right over from here if I so desired from the Librarian tab. And I can do the same thing for stomp mode right here if I so desire as well. So very flexible, very easy to use. Now, the really interesting thing is, and this is one of the main questions that I received, folks said, you know, I organized all of my presets and tone models into the beautiful feature over on ToneX app of the user folders. And that's so much easier for me to organize rather than having to scroll through all these presets and tone models. So the question was, can we access our user folders? And the answer is yes. I can go up to my little filter icon right here. And when I click that, I have the ability to come in and see all of my user folders. So if I just wanted to see presets from, let's say, my Vicious Kitty Ultimate, there you go. There is the user folder that I set up over in ToneX app, and it is right here. And I could grab whatever I want, multi-select, and just drag those over here overwrite them on the pedal, and I'm up and running. And we can also use other filters. We can do the same thing for tone models. I can come over here and isolate them within the user folder that I created. So very, very cool stuff. Going to make things very easy to work with. Other than that, it's pretty straight ahead and pretty simple. We can come in here once we have something loaded up. Let's say I wanted this and this tone model over here. I now have those on my pedal. If I grab my guitar, this will sound like this right off of ToneX pedal. Now, this tone that I'm showcasing right now is from my just released as of yesterday, brand new JS Plex King Ultimate and Plex King DI. I have two different collections. This is based off of my beautiful Tone King Royalist Mark III amplifier. This thing is a real Marshall killer as far as I'm concerned. Has three different voicings of vintage Marshall tones, and they are incredible. This is the 67 version. I can take up here and drag that onto the pedal, and you'll see that the 10, that's the highest gain level. Beautiful tones. Again, I can edit these right on the pedal. If I wanted to add some delay to that, I can do so right here. Turn that on. So really, really beautiful stuff, really easy to tweak. Now, the thing about utilizing ToneX One versus ToneX Pedal, as I was mentioning yesterday, we had a save button up here, and you'll notice we don't have that. And the reason is this is going to be auto-saved. So you'll notice I added a delay here. So if I switch out of this now, moving over to this other tone model in slot B, and make some tweaks over here. Let's say I just turn the gain down. When I come back over to slot A, you'll notice that the delay has been saved. When I come back over to slot B, you'll notice that the gain setting has been saved. So I don't have to worry about saving since ToneX One is actually auto-saving, and those changes will be reflected just when we go back and forth. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking for a save button. You're not going to find that there. The other really cool thing is now that I've saved this, let's say with the delay, and I'll maybe bring my gain back just a touch here, if I decide to overwrite this here with, let's say, this particular tone model. Now I drag that up. You'll notice everything flattens back out. We don't have a delay anymore. We don't have that gain change. But if I go and bring back up the same tone model I had previously tweaked and bring that back into the slot here, you'll notice that it does retain those changes because it is auto-saved on the pedal. We have to get our head around the fact that we're not working off the software now. We're actually editing things right on the pedal. Now, if I was really happy with those changes I made with the lower gain and the delay, on this JS Plex King 6710, I could come over to my Librarian tab and I could drag that back over onto the pedal as such. And now you see it here. I actually dragged that into this folder here, and that's going to now be in my software library. So if I come back over here and turn these things off, make those changes, you know that that's going to auto save when I come back over here. But if I wanted that back, I could simply just drag the preset that I edited, and now you're going to see that I get those changes back where I have the gain down and the delay up. So pretty cool. If we make some edits on our pedal itself and we want to make sure to export that to backup on our software library, like I said, we can drag both ways. It's not just dragging from the software library, which is here on our right, over to the hardware pedal, but also we can do it the other way. So we can tweak on our pedal and then drag those back over to the software. Now, another big question I had is, will we be able to have more than one ToneX device hooked up to the computer at the same time and edit both of them? And I'm happy to announce that the answer to that is yes, we can. Let me keep my ToneX One pedal hooked up, but let me also hook in a full-blown ToneX pedal along with it and show you how this is going to work. So I just plugged in my ToneX White Anniversary Edition. I also still have ToneX One connected, as you can see here. Now, if we come up to our little pull-down menu right here, you'll notice now it recognizes that there are two pedals hooked up. The ToneX One, which is the active pedal right now, is in yellow, and the ToneX White Anniversary Edition is over here in white. Let me click on that and see what happens. You'll notice that it goes blank for a second. Now it's going to sync up with that. You'll notice the red light here on the ToneX One telling us the ToneX One is no longer connected. After giving that a minute to sync up, we now see that we get the green light on the ToneX pedal. But if we use this pull-down menu, we still have our ToneX One connected that we can switch back and forth between. The interface changes also to show that we're using the ToneX pedal and not the ToneX One with its 3 different slots for dual mode and stomp mode. Now we can easily go back over to ToneX One. It does take a second at present to sync up the whole library, but there you go. There it is back again. If I go back to ToneX pedal, it goes blank for a second, then it comes back in and it's going to sync that library up again. So there is a slight delay when we're switching between hardware units. I think that's to be expected because ToneX Editor has to recognize what's on that pedal, but at least we do have the ability to switch back and forth between multiple different hardware units that are hooked up to the same computer. All right, so I think I covered the main questions I had received yesterday and also was able to showcase how things are going to be slightly different on ToneX Editor when utilizing it with ToneX One. Hope that was helpful. I hope you liked the little demo of the tones you heard today from this new collection. I'm going to leave you today with the full-blown demo video hearing this new Plex King Ultimate collection utilized in a full-blown mix on one of my original songs with my good friend Marco Miniman on the drums and my equally good friend Jason Henry on the bass guitar. I hope you enjoy the music on the way out. Links are below to this new ToneX tone model collection if you're so inclined and you like what you hear and you want to grab a copy. I do appreciate the support. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thanks again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.